So we've got trouble in Yemen. Now, you already knew that there's trouble in Yemen if you're following the news. There's a massive war going on there. Saudi Arabia and their coalition is bombing Yemen to no end. The UN is worried about huge, gross human rights violations here in America since Saudi Arabia is our ally. We don't really talk about it. And one side is more Shia-backed and the other side is more Sunni-backed in the Muslim country of Yemen. And so we have decided that we are against the Shia. Iran is bad, and they're the boogeymen. And so even though the Houthis, who are Shia, have taken control in Yemen, we apparently decided that our allies are allowed to invade them. What happened in the New World Order? Remember, George H.W. Bush said the reason we were going to liberate Kuwait from Saddam Hussein all the way back in the 1990s was because we could not have any country violate the borders and the sovereignty of another country. Well, Saudi Arabia is doing that to Yemen. That's okay. They give us cheap oil. Let them do whatever the hell they want. In fact, we got a ship out there. Why do we have a ship out there? We're not involved in this war. I mean, of course, we finance Saudi Arabia. They finance us. They buy weapons from us. We've got all that money flowing back and forth, but we're not supposed to be in the middle of that war. Oh, here we go. Now we're getting dragged in. The U.S. military launched cruise missile strikes on Thursday to knock out 3 coastal radar sites in areas of Yemen controlled by Iran-aligned Houthi forces, retaliating after failed missile attacks this week on a U.S. Navy destroyer, U.S. officials said. Well, why is a U.S. Navy destroyer off the coast of Yemen? Obviously, it reminds you a little bit of the Gulf of Tonkin. In this case, they didn't hit, or they say that they fired the missiles, but they didn't hit. Is it true? Only God knows. And I know CNN and the rest of the mainstream media are like, well, what do you mean only God knows? The Pentagon reported it. So God has already spoken. It must be true. And the Pentagon also assures us this is limited. No, don't worry. We're not going to get dragged in this war. In fact, the Pentagon spokesperson says these limited self-defense strikes were conducted to protect our personnel, our ships, and our freedom of navigation. The Houthis denied that they ever struck on them. How do the Houthis have cruise missiles that can go dozens of miles? People say Iran. Iran has those missiles? Maybe, barely. They got them into Yemen, and they almost hit one of our ships? None of this story sounds right. So do I know exactly what the facts are? Am I positive they didn't fire the missiles and it really wasn't the Houthis? I don't know. But here's what I'm not going to do. Take the Pentagon's word for it. Why do we have ships just sitting there waiting to get fired on? It is not our war. Get out of there unless you're looking for trouble. Okay, by the way, I'm going to show you a map because a lot of times people honestly don't have a good scope of where these things are. So Yemen is in that peninsula, obviously, and Saudi Arabia is the larger part of it, and they're next to each other. That's why they're in hostilities. Yemen, the Houthis are Shia, the Saudis are largely Sunni, and you can see that we had to have a Navy destroyer right by there because it's right next to New Jersey. Oh, right, it's not. It's on the other side of the world. Okay, last piece of context for you guys. They say the failed missile attacks on the USS Mason, or the alleged failed missile attacks on the USS Mason, appeared to be part of the reaction to a suspected Saudi-led strike on mourners gathered in Yemen's Houthi-held capital, Sansa. So our great allies hit, in essence, a funeral. Just a couple of weeks ago, they got in trouble for hitting hospitals, and according to human rights groups, hitting hospitals on purpose. So these are our lovely allies, and we've got our ships there to protect them from doing while they do these things. We're not opposed to hitting the funerals and the hospitals. We say, tut, you shouldn't do that. Meanwhile, here's the United States Navy to get your back while you do that. So Michael Knight explained, this is an expert on this issue. He says, targeting U.S. warships is a sign that the Houthis have decided to join the axes of resistance that currently includes Lebanese, Hezbollah, Hamas, and Iran. Now, why do I give you that nonsense expert's opinion there? Because he's at a think tank in Washington, and we've decided that, yes, of course, the Houthis are very, very dangerous, even though they have nothing to do with us at all in Yemen. But we'd like to get involved, so they're part of an axis. Uh-oh, here comes war. anytime we start talking about axes, we're going to go to war in places we shouldn't be and have no business in. Do you care who wins the war in Yemen, the Sunnis or the Shias? And why do you care? Oh no, they're part of an axis of resistance. What the hell does that mean? And by the way, look at their language. Their axis, so it must be evil. We got to go get them and we got to go bomb them. But an axis of resistance. What are they resisting? They're resisting us and our allies going to crush them in their own countries. What would you do? Would you not resist? But no, it's an unacceptable axis of resistance. We had to fire upon them. We happen to have a ship right there that would do that firing. Hey, Saudis, have we been good enough to you? Keep that cheap oil coming. It is not worth it. All the cheap oil in the world isn't worth getting involved in these wars, having half the world hate us because we bombed them and their families, and then we get sucked into war and lose trillions of dollars, thousands of lives, and do untold damage across the world. Here's my idea. Get out of there. Get out of there. It's got nothing to do with us. Stop causing trouble throughout the world and then turning around and going, I don't know why they hate us. They hate us because they hate us. These are among the reasons they hate us. You power the Young Turks. We do this all through membership. tytnetwork.com/join. Let's build the media that we can believe in.